Good evening, Mr. Chair. It is
Okay, that's it.
6:07 and we are live.
Hold tight, Anthony.
Greg's delay. All right, I call this planning and zoning regular board meeting to order Wednesday, November 3rd at 6:07 p.m. All right, Sheriff, can you do the roll for us, please?
Sure. Anthony Murata,
Here.
Mark Hum,
Here.
Laura Starr. Here. Zaid Shamsi I can never say it right.
Here,
Shamsi Basha.
that's it, here.
Okay,
Great.
and we have Greg trying to get on, so we're gonna, and also Ed. They're having some technical difficulties getting them on. One, I believe, will be here later, if at all. You have a quorum.
Okay, very good, thank you. All right, we'll move along. Pledge of allegiance, if you will, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
For the
of the
United
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, do we have any additions, deletions, or reordering?
And Mr. Chairman, we do not.
All right. Approval of minutes. Anybody who had a chance to go through the minutes, I'd like to make a motion to approve them. For that. All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Any against? 0. Approval of minutes. All right. Moving along to the swearing in of staff and applicants. Sure, if you would.
We have, I think, we have. They can first, please. No.
Oh, yes, sorry. It's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and promote the folks from First Fleet who are here for the second item. Can you please turn on your cameras and unmute yourselves? You will be sworn in at this time. Ms. O'Connor, you're going to have to accept the promotion to, and Mr. Aarons, you will need to turn on your video if you wish to provide testimony this evening. Mr. Aarons and Ms. O'Connor, if you could please turn on the video and unmute your mic so we can swear you in. All right, I think we just go and we.
Okay. Please raise your right hand. If you plan to give testimony this evening. If you swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and so say yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, great, thank you. Proof of publication. First Fleet coin laundry. Good.
So we have 2 proofs, one for First Fleet and also one for an item. It'll be new business item 1, which will be a continuance.
Okay. Thank you. All right, withdrawals, postponements. All right, moving along here. Board disclosures. Don't have any disclosures. All right. New business. Request for continuance to a date certain of December 1st, 2021 for PZB number 21-005-00007.
Yeah, for this particular item, we were trying to we got the application in, it was sufficient for processing, but there was some additional information we needed from the applicant before we could do that, but because of the advertising requirements, we went ahead and advertised them. So they don't have to advertise again. We're requesting continuance.
Would anyone like to make a motion for the continuance to a date certain of December 1st, 2021?
I move to approve the continuance.
Or PCB number 2100500000. And a second from Mark. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any against? All right.
Sherry was the other member that needed to.
Adding Greg.
Okay, item B on new business, PZB project number 21-00000019. Consideration of a request for a mural installation for the Cottages of Lakewood located at 604 Lucerne Avenue. Parcel control number 384344211502202220. The subject property is located in the downtown zoning district.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Aaron Cita for the record. As you stated, this is a mural installation. The location is at 604 Lucerne Avenue. The existing location or existing land use is retail and professional services, and the future land use is downtown mixed use, and zoning district is downtown. So here is the proposed mural. It is a mural installation to replace the existing Build a Bridge mural on the eastern side of the building on North L Street with a Cottages of Lakewood Beach theme mural as painted by Sammy Michaela. Here's the existing mural, and then here is where's the proposed mural? Oh, I can put it back there. There we go. So there's a proposed mural. Staff is recommending approval, and we can go to the motions whenever you're ready. Wes Clackman is here representing the application, and he's here to provide answer any questions that you may have.
Great. Lana, Mr. Blackman.
Okay. Good evening, planning and zoning board members, members of the public and staff. Thank you. My name is Wes Clackman. I am an urban planner. I have my own practice in Lakewood Beach, and you've seen me before in other capacities here with various applications. But another hat I wear is the president of the Cottages of Lakewood Inc. It's a 501c3 nonprofit, and we were formed in 2013, the same year as our city's centennial, to celebrate and promote the collection of historic cottages that we have in the city of Lakewood Beach. And one of our products, our shining glory, was the Cottages of Lakewood book that was published in 2017. It's 2017 copyright. It's an award-winning book. It won finalist for in the coffee table book category for the Indie Book Awards in 2019. And we've also developed walking tours of the area surrounding the downtown and wherever there are cottages in Lakewood Beach. And I'm pleased to have Janet Serrano with us. She's a member of the board, and she lives at the cottage herself on the 400 block of North L Street. And we also have the artist Sammy Michaela, who is here tonight to answer any questions you have about the mural. The mural represents another way that we are promoting the fact that we do have such an unusual concentration, large concentration in terms of other municipalities within South Florida in Lakewood Beach. And what better way to do it than a mural proclaiming so right in the middle of our downtown, in the epicenter of what is essentially our cottages district. So in order to be legal, we have to go through this process and make an application, and we did that, and we had the permission of the property owner. Sammy is the artist, has had experience. He did the Tuppence mural and others he can talk about. His qualifications are credentials are included as part of the application. I'm here to answer any questions. Sammy is here to answer any questions. And we're just pleased to be here and agree with the staff recommendation.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Blackman first?
When would you start the mural?
Sammy could answer that. It depends on his schedule. This would open the door for permitting. We do have the property owner's permission, obviously, to send the application. And this has been in the works for quite some time. And the CRA has also contributed to the painting of the mural and will contribute a portion of the cost from their funds. So, Sammy, do you want to come up and talk about your inspiration a little bit? They might be interested.
Yeah, I can say a few words.
Yeah, why don't you come up to the microphone?
Is this an exact artist rendering of what it's going to be?
Yeah, Sammy can talk about that. Sammy?
Sam, if you want to come on up.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Sami Makela. Been calling Lakewood my home last 27 years. And I was very happy when the Lakewood Cottages people contacted me about this mural opportunity. Basically, it's a reflection of that book. So I took a lot of images from that book. There's also an image of old carpenter working on his craft tied to the name Lakewood Cottages. There's a lot of, if anybody is familiar of Maxwell Parrish, famous artist, mural artist, used amazing palettes. And it was after I done my rendering, I just one day was reading his book in my house and I was like, oh my God, the colors are almost exactly the same, like some famous Maxwell Parrish murals. So I think everything working very well there. So I'm always, when I approach my murals, I like to, that they say and they stay looking fresh for a long time. A lot of mural artists you see, even the international superstars who came and paint murals here in town, I follow them painting straight with the spray cans, no pressure cleaning, no primer, nothing. And now you see many of these murals are peeling. I had the same approach to Toppin's mural. They said that they're worried that it's not going to last. Now it's been almost 3 years from when I did that, and not a single crack, peeling, fading have happened. Because I'm using the best possible materials, and I always treat the background. The base is cleaned, treated, sealed, primed with the best possible products. So then, it's going to last for years to see, and it's not going to look after a couple of years like some faded old mural. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Time frame is, I have originally talked about, probably November and December, and I'm working in a couple of projects right now that I'm not quite 100% sure when we can start, but probably December, January, that time.
Any other questions?
No, you do lots more.
Once we approve this, is that the final step and it goes forward?
They need a mural permit.
So that's another step.
Yeah, and so they sign a mural agreement and there's conditions of, related to different stuff that are standard in the code. And so the permit itself, we match the permit to the approval.
And what,
Oh, I don't mean to interrupt, but this is Ed. I'm here.
Hi,
so what are the terms and conditions?
basically it's I don't have all of it off the top of my head, but basically if it gets damaged to a certain point, it's on the property owner to paint over the mural and repair it. So there's, repair and maintain it. So that basically what happens if it's not done, if it's not maintained properly, eventually a code enforcement case happens if the property owner doesn't then take charge and do that. And then they're required to comply with their conditions of approval.
I believe we did that for one somewhat recently when we approved an open door for one of the art festivals. And then I think a year or two later, one of them was looking pretty rough. We'd requested it be addressed.
Yeah, I was wondering, because of the building that's on the corner of 10th and Dixie where the school used to be that has long mural, a block long.
Yeah, we've had some,
Then there's no,
we've been in touch with the property owner. They have a code enforcement case and they're probably gonna come back. They want to look at some different uses for that one, but that's a whole other thing. So it's probably gonna be a site plan and a whole, because there's a lot of other things happening there besides the mural that,
the building's for sale.
yeah. There's not a lot of general love that probably needs to be applied on that site.
So what happens if the person who owns this building decides to sell the building? Does the agreement that you're talking about transfer to the new owner? How does
Yeah, it's tied to the property.
It's tied to the property. So it's in the public records that turns up in a title search or something?
Well, I mean, it's a condition of approval. So it's in the permit, it's part of the building permit or the mural permit, it's not a building permit. Because it doesn't comply with Florida statute or a building code. So, and then also too, if it's just in disrepair, we can also just seek code action against them in general. as well.
Was the prior mural that's on there now, did it go through this same process?
So some of the murals that were done during that time frame where they had that big artist thing happening, not all of them, some of them were just kind of approved as a whole. And they were part of that art installation. What was it called, Sammy? Canvas.
That
Yeah.
was in 2017.
And then prior to that, well, that was probably the one that was Focus. We had Focus as well.
Focus. Yeah,
And
this
then-
one was Focus, I think.
Right, and then the other one. We
Yeah,
had
so
two.
we have taken code cases against murals. So if there's one in particular, right now, I think code enforcement they have a lot that they're focusing on. And because we had a, moratorium on code enforcement for a year. So they're kind of trying to work on prioritizing health safety first. But if a complaint came in against a mural that was particularly deteriorating, then they would take action on that mural.
And I'm not quite sure, but previously, the owner, when mural was approved, they had a promise that it's gonna stay there at least, was it 2 years or 2 years? So then they cannot even touch themselves, even they wanna do. So at least 2 years, it's gonna stay exactly like that. And then they can do paint over or whatever they wanna do.
Oh, that's part of the agreement?
At least that was the before.
I think that was part of the installation for those art, because it was an international art show, a mural. It's not, somebody comes in and they want to paint over their mural, like, there's not a lot we can legally do. So,
All right. Any other questions? All right, thank you. Okay, the only comments I'll add to, because I know we usually have discussion around the murals in general, and I think our goal is to determine whether it's not allowed to be related to the business going on. So if it's a donut store, can't paint a bunch of donuts on it with their sign. And if it's in good taste, that's really what we're up to. So any public comment?
We haven't received any comments for this.
All right, thank you. I'll entertain a motion. Someone would like to make one?
I move to approve PCB project number 2100000019, consideration of a request for mural installation for the structure located at 604 Lucerne Avenue based upon the competent substantial evidence in the staff report and pursuant to the City of Lakewood Beach land development regulations.
All right, thank you, Lauren. And second by Mark. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against? None. 4-0.
Thank you very much.
Get painting.
Please send me less people will drive and yell at you. That's what's going on at 10 here over there.
It was fun watching you do that one.
I refrained from it. I just want to let you know.
Up as posted, if you like the art, honk the horn. I think it's kind of a nightmare.
I didn't honk, I didn't
Yeah.
know.
I'd see you out there every day and I'm like, this guy's getting annoyed enough as it is. So we just leave you alone.
Yeah.
But it looks great over there on the tuffins.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
just for the record, Ed, did you vote in the affirmative or the negative? We did on the mural. You're muted.
Yes, yes, affirmative.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, you were muted when you voted, so.
I was a little slow on the unmute button.
Thank you for clarifying, because I did say 4 I didn't hear it. All right. Next item, new business item C, PZB project number 21-014-00018, consideration of a major site plan amendment request for the addition of an 8,413 square foot industrial canopy structure at 1933 8th Avenue North. The proposed canopy addition is to provide shelter and protection for equipment needed for daily operations.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Aaron Cito for the record. The applicant is the Aaron's company on behalf of the owner and the Olivia. I don't know why I'm having a tongue twister. Olivera at First Street Truck Sales. The address is 1933 8th Avenue North. The existing land use is industrial. It is an industrial park of commerce and has that zoning and a future land use of industrial. This is a consideration of a major site plan amendment for the request for an additional 8,113 square foot industrial canopy located on the property. Here's the site plan. So part of this site plan would be when items come in on sites that are substantially non-conforming with the current code, such as this one, which was probably has been an existing industrial site for a significant amount of time. What we do is we ask the applicant to bring the site into conformance insofar as feasible. So part of this proposal, in addition to the canopy, will include a landscape screen around the exterior fence and additional trees. Here are the existing elevations. It's a pretty simple industrial metal canopy structure. Here are the existing site conditions. So you can see there's the existing site conditions, particularly on the northwest corner along 8th Avenue North and Detroit Street. This whole front facade, we won't be able to see the chain link fence anymore. We'll have a landscape screen, and then there will also be a few trees, which are a mix of sable palms and Clueo rosea, which are the native Clusia. Again, the surrounding uses are all industrial. This is an existing non-conforming use, so the proposed improvements are consistent with the comp plan, the strategic plan, the LDRs, and the site design qualitative standards. Insofar as this is a retrofit of an existing site, obviously. And staff is recommending approval with the conditions outlined on page 5 of the staff report. I'm going to introduce the applicant if they have any questions, or if you have any questions through the presentation. Alejandra, can you go ahead and turn on your, Greg, I'm going to go ahead and you have a lot of background noise. Alejandra, if you want to go ahead and turn on your video and unmute.
Sure. Good evening. First of all, look like I haven't the control to start my video. Okay, now yes. Good evening. My name is Alejandra Molina Jackson. I am the architect of record with Aaron's companies that we are the applicants. And I will do a brief introduction because Erin described it perfectly, what is the scope of work of this project. The client has a business that some part of the business is performed outdoors, and he decided to build a canopy to improve the condition of the employees, because they do some parts repairs that are big piece of equipment that cannot fit inside the building, the existing building, so they need to work outdoors, and they need at least to be covered because, you know, the weather in Florida is not so friendly to work outdoors without some shading. So mainly the building is a pre-engineered building, just the roof has no enclosed walls, just a skirt. I will show you the rendering. You see that the building will look like this. This is the existing building, and this is the new canopy, has just a skirt. And in addition, with
Alejandra, you're not sharing your screen. Can you?
Let me see if I can share.
There you go.
You need to give me, I guess, the let's see.
Yeah, I just promoted you.
Okay, perfect. Can you see it now?
Mhm.
Okay, so let's start again quickly. So the site has 2 existing buildings, and this is the proposed canopy that will be supported by steel frames that are columns with the beams. Just that there are not enclosed walls, so practically is an open building, and the purpose of the building is to provide a better condition for the employees that needs to work outdoors. Saying this is the roof. This is the existing building. We attach the canopy to the existing building. It's sharing some part of the structure, and these are the elevations. And finally, this is the look of the building, the rendering. So this is the existing building, this is the new building. So in addition, with the assistance of planning and zoning, we are doing, or the client is doing, some improvements in the site, improving parking, providing some landscaping. That will be an improvement in the surrounding built environment. So will be a positive impact. Not too much to say about anything else. I guess Erin can continue with the report.
Yeah, the only other thing I'd add is that this site is currently 100% impervious, and with the proposed improvements, impervious rate will, the maximum impervious surface coverage will reduce down to 92.9%. So it's a just over 7% increase in pervious surface.
Yeah. So we will remove some part of the impervious area to provide landscape in the perimeter mainly. So it's like providing to the facing the street, providing a better view than just the concrete and the fence. They will see, everybody that's going around the building will, around the site, will see landscaping.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask where that 8% is coming from. Is that coming from the 2-foot buffer landscaping zone around the fence?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
It's
And we already got the right-of-way permit to do the improvements in the right-of-way.
yeah, the site
To
is really,
repair, to patch the pavement outside the site.
yeah, it has been
Make it some.
historic. Yeah, hold on a second, Alejandra. This is historically had used a portion of the right of way for its parking since basically time began. So part of what you would do is get a right of way permit and improve the right of way. And a portion of their parking will still continue to be in the right of way, but they're going to do an agreement with the city to maintain that area. And the right of way is wider than what the city needs. So the Public Works Department has approved they were on the SPRT, so they approved the site plan as far as and provided comment conditions of approval and that include those agreements.
Any question?
We'll go down the list. Mark, any questions?
No, I'm good.
All right, saying anything?
Will any type of equipment or cranes or will any industrial activities be relying on those big steel beams at the top? Will anything be hanging from them or being lifted up and down from them?
Will be like a crane to, to move some equipment because it's too heavy, but it's not anything related to manufacturing or providing, some pollution. It's just the space they need for big pieces of equipment to repair.
So just so I understand, is a crane going to be mounted to the bottom of this canopy structure?
Yes. And it's will be exactly here. There are.
There it is.
Is it
This
one
is to move the
crane or
equipment.
how many cranes are there?
2.
So they're going to be using these cranes to do their industrial activity that happens on this site.
No, this will be to move the equipment underneath the canopy, because some pieces of equipment are really heavy. You cannot move it with human force. You need some equipment.
Do they have cranes there now?
No.
So are they changing the use? I don't understand what these cranes are for.
No, the use is always the same. So they are working now outdoors, and they are moving the equipment in another way, but with other type of equipment. But once they have the canopy, they can lift it easy way with the cranes.
Does the applicant have an explanation for what the cranes are for? And I mean, I'm just trying to understand, are they expanding their industrial operations at the site? You mentioned that this canopy is to keep the employees cool or dry, but if they're mounting cranes on the bottom of them, it seems like they might be modifying or expanding their industrial operations here.
No, they are working, they are using that space that is an open space, and like they have a canopy or they have an structure above. They are lifting the equipment in other way. I don't know exactly the name of the equipment they use, but are like big dollies, something like that. But with the advantage having this canopy, they can lift the equipment with the cranes. But already they are working in that space, outdoors.
Does the canopy as applied, does that prevent them from using their current dollies or however they lift those items? Are they not going to be able to do that once the canopy is built?
No, yes, they can do it, but it's much better with the cranes. It's less human force. Again, the nature of doing this building, this canopy, is to improve the condition of the employees, not to expand the activities of the business. The activities of the business are the same, continue the same. Just the condition that are having now the employees outdoors, it could be improved potentially with this canopy.
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. No
I have
problem.
a couple.
Laura, please.
What kind of business is this?
They do repair of equipment,
heavy equipment. and
Track
custom-
equipments, track equipments. So, motors, this stuff. Mechanical equipment,
Not vehicles, just
No, this is
No.
heavy equipment.
No.
and
heavy
custom-
equipment, yes.
what kind of
Heavy
equipment?
pieces of metal that they need to manipulate.
What is the equipment used for? It's all different
Heavy equipment.
construction projects?
It can be construction or they also, on their webpage, they have they
Yeah.
use specialty equipment for certain types of, it's usually motorized. It appears from their website to be mostly motorized.
Yeah.
But it's very large equipment.
What's the flooring in, under the canopy?
It's all just paved cement.
Yes,
So
it's concrete.
entire site is 100% impervious right now. So that's why when they came in and they want to do the canopy,
Right.
staff asked that the screening be modified. Because it's been used in this way probably since the 60s of some type of this use or another.
It could come up in some other context about some requirement or some new requirement that any property in Lake Worth has to have a catch to make sure that certain fluids and pollution things aren't leaching into the soil.
Right, so this type of business would be required to have a well field permit. But because it's an existing built environment, their existing site, as far as the city's concerned, will be allowed to exist. If there's other types of permits for their use, like the well field permit or other types of DEP permits that they would need, those permits might have additional requirements on site. You want to add to that? Yeah, so if they don't have a well field permit on the site, part of what they'll be required to do is part of this is notify the county that they are keeping, because if you keep more than 5 gallons of a substance on your property, oil, gas, anything, and it's in a well field, which surprisingly a lot of our industrial areas are in our well fields, especially our artisanal industrial district, which is, but that's not here, but our artisanal industrial district is actually in one of our higher levels of well fields. It's interesting. So we'll probably need a well field permit and anything else. But no, I mean, it's been in a heavy, well, not a heavy, but a relatively serious industrial site for decades.
Right, but now they're adding two cranes. And these cranes, I assume, run on gasoline.
Okay, sure.
They're gas cranes, right? Ma'am?
Hello?
Alejandro, are these gas
Yes.
operated cranes? Gasoline operated cranes?
I don't think so. I think it's our electrical.
Usually electric.
Hmm?
They're usually electric.
Or natural gas.
Yeah,
Cranes are electric.
Yeah, they just back and forth. They're not
wait a
going-
second. Richard, you can turn on your microphone and you can speak, Okay, tell me. Electric cranes. Yeah, I have Richard and see my phone.
I don't have any more questions.
All right. Ed, how about yourself? Any questions?
My only concern is with the pervious area. I just want to,
It's existing.
I understand that there's 0 pervious area now and that
Yes.
we're going to increase the pervious area. But I also understand that we still are not meeting the requirement for a pervious area. So I just want to feel, and I guess this is maybe more of a question for staff, but can we, how is it has the applicant made a reasonable effort and are they achieving as much pervious area as they can reasonably achieve? And basically, I guess I'd be satisfied with the staff's opinion on that.
So a over 7% increase in impervious surface on a previously completely paved site is a significant improvement in impervious surface. It's not a little number. But if you feel like you would like some more, I will just say, definitely ask the applicant to talk about that, because this is a heavier industrial site, and this is, I think this might be in a lighter well-filled zone. So you also don't want modification of heavy equipment not happening on a pervious surface. Because you don't want, they're modifying, they're customizing large trucks, and they've been at this location for some time, and it's been in a heavier, it's not really heavy, because heavy industrial is real heavy. It's like, we don't really have heavy industrial in Florida. Heavy industrial is like smokestacks and, you know what I mean, like ponds of stuff, and it's really extra gross. This is pretty much light industrial in the context of the spectrum of industrial, but it's heavier than a lot of what we have in our IPAP. So, they're a business, they employ a lot of people, they've been here a long time. They came in, they wanted to do this. We requested them to improve it and meet standard. Is that enough improvement? You have to decide. That's part of your discretion as a board. I mean, would we have liked more? Sure, absolutely, but it is a constrained site. They are using the full site, and they have been a business in operation in the city for a long time. So, those are things you need to weigh and balance and decide.
Right. Well, I guess without, sort of making a really detailed study of the site plan, and is that something that, is that going to happen down the road, or is this the last, chance that we have? Because, it would be nice to look at the plan and say, well, gee, maybe, they could have a bit more pervious area, or say no. They pretty much, the site is every square foot is used up, and they've done the best that they can do.
So that is what the applicant said to us. And so we felt that they were sufficient to come to board and for you all to review it. So.
Do you want to pose that question directly to the applicant, or is that kind of a staff opinion question?
I can add that we have several meetings with all the reviewers, including engineering, and we visit and revisit this topic about the existing concrete slab, and our client agreed to, do his best to comply with code and put, up to date the site under code. But there was, of course, there is a limit, because this is existing, and it has, I understand, at least 20 years. So this slab, and he needed for his business, and because in this moment, the space that we are covering, he's using it. Just, I stress one more time, he's trying that to bring a better condition to his employees, that now the guys are working, under the sun, under the rain, and doing a lot of human force to move heavy equipment, pieces of equipment. Is just that. So doesn't alter, in fact, the site per se. So the trade-off was to provide as much as possible an improvement for the built environment around the site, even more than the site, around the site. So make it more pleasant, visually pleasant, with the landscaping, making a, better look for a site that is light industrial, but it's industrial, it's not a type of retail that is inviting to sit or to go inside. So they are trying to to provide as much as aesthetically possible a clean site. But they need to work and they need a slab.
So you'll probably begin to see more of these cases, examples of this, because we have a lot of industrial area that have substantial nonconformities throughout our artisanal industrial district and in some pockets of our IPOC. So we have a lot of industrial that was developed in the late 50s, 60s, and early 1970s when, so this will we go forward and we want to change, do things, we're probably going to see similar type cases. We have a substantially non-conforming site, they're doing an improvement, and then what, kind of what are we expecting of those folks?
Thank you. Ed, any other questions?
No, that was all I had. Thanks.
Thank you. Greg, how about you?
I got a couple of questions, Anthony, if you don't mind. How long have they been in business at that location, and do they own this building or are they tenants?
They own the site. They are not tenants.
Okay. And how long have they been in that location?
I think it's more than 20 years or 15 years at least. 15, 20 years. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
So I can tell you one more thing. If you go there, if you go to the neighborhood, you will see that this is one of the most clean sites.
It is
Because
that.
I walk around the
It is that.
neighborhood,
I
and,
have
it
to-
is, and they are doing a great effort to make it better, even than now, better than now, much better.
Yeah,
But
they do a
currently,
good job.
the condition is much better than some neighbors, I can tell
Yes.
you.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that for
Mhm.
sure. Thank you. Thank you. Anthony, that's all I have.
That's it, okay. Fair enough. All right, do we have any public comment?
No, we do not have anything on this item either.
All right. Any other board discussion or questions? That's good. I want to entertain a motion. If someone would like to make one.
I move to approve with conditions the request for a major site plan amendment to allow the addition of 8.413 square feet canopy structure at 1933 8th Avenue North, based upon the competent and substantial evidence provided in the staff report and in the testimony at the public hearing.
I'll second it.
8,413, right? You said 8.413. So it's
My glasses are
8,000.
fogging up.
No, I think you're right. I think that is a point, but I can't tell. But it's 8,413, correct? That's what we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, 8,000 square feet, or eight.
Mark just offered to approve an 8 square foot canopy for them. They'll be happy with this.
I'll amend
That
that,
must have been a
to 8,413 square feet.
All right.
I'll second it.
Greg's amended a second. We have motion and a second. All those in favor
What was the conditions? I thought you said you moved to approve it with conditions.
with the attached conditions?
Tax conditions.
That are listed in the report.
There, a right-of-way permit shall be submitted concurrently with the building permit for the required exterior landscaping. Public Sabbath permit will review the proposed improvements to determine if the maintenance agreement will be required. Any damage to pavement, curbing, striping, or sidewalk shall be restored in kind. Property owners ensuring that dumpster remains in collection inside the fence enclosure on all other days except for trash collection days. And then the lighting fixtures must be substituted with a similar style, fully shielded fixtures at building permit that can achieve the LED light tone of 3,000 Kelvin or less. And then
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks.
Any other discussion? All right. All those in favor, say aye.
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 And all those against? Aye. All right. Motion passes 5-1.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
You too.
You also, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving along, any planning issues? Public comment? Any public comment? How about department reports?
Now, if you know somebody who's interested in applying for a senior planner position with the city of Lakewood Beach, please give them my email or phone number and
All right.
have a conversation.
I might know someone.
We're a good crew and it's, so we're hoping to find somebody great.
People you've had with you before, they're gone.
The two younger planners are there, but our senior principal planner, she is no longer with us.
That
She
was-
didn't die. She-
No, she was the one that left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounded.
I forgot her name.
The story of our times.
All right, any board member comments? Mark, you got any pearls of wisdom you want to impart upon us tonight before we depart? All right, sounds good.
Take a rest.
If there's none, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. We are adjourned at 6:50.